Hello, friends. I'm back. I decided today to send a message to those who supported Kamala. Now, just to start, just to make it clear, that is not the way I voted, and I'm not going to be a jerk. So I hope all will keep watching. If you voted for Trump, I hope you'll keep watching too, because we have to learn to stand together. We have to learn to be better than all the things we see on TV and social media. So here's my message to those who supported Kamala, even though that is not the way I voted. One, we are more alike than we are different. We have to learn to stand together. And I'm not saying, anyway, I want you to know I respect the fact that you voted differently than me. I respect the fact that we don't all have to have the same stance on issues, on any of the things, on candidates. I completely respect that. I care about you. I care about American people. I may not know you personally, but I care about our people. I care about those who believe what I believe. I care about those who voted the way I voted. I care about those who didn't vote the way I vote. If we are going to preserve the integrity of our nation, we have to stand together. We have to talk through differences. We have to respect people who are not the same as us, right? That being said, I have kind of two main things I would like to share and see if they have anything to offer you, I guess. I do also want to say that I hope you are not living in fear and anxiety. I know people on both sides of the board have been living in fear and anxiety. And if that is you today, I would love for you to meet a guy named Jesus. If you are a believer, I would encourage you to dive into your faith because he takes care of us no matter what. No matter what happens in this world, he has promised us a future where there's no more crying and no more tears. And I'm looking forward to that place. Amen. Amen. Okay. So that being said, I hope you're not living in fear and anxiety. I understand the information on the news, and it is appalling. It is appalling. And that's one of the things I want to talk about because which one do I want to talk about first? Okay, so let's talk about news and information. A few years ago, I went on this, things on the news started not making sense to me. I went on this huge quest for information. At the time, I realized how difficult it is to find the truth. When I really started looking, I was like, I knew what I was looking for, which was key. This was key. I knew what I was looking for, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, wow, we have the World Wide Web. We have all the world's information at our fingertips. Why can't I find what I know exists out there? Well, it was out there, but I had to find certain video platforms. I had to find certain social media platforms. I had to find very specific news sites to find what I knew was out there. And when I found it, and it was coming from very respectable humans who are experts in their fields, and this had to do with their area of expertise, I'm like, what is going on? What is going on? So during this whole thing, this big quest for information, I'm watching normal news. I see stuff on social media. I started searching out other very specific news. And I had this whole personal, we are being duped. The whole world is conspiring against us to keep the truth away from us. And so where I'm getting to with this is because you voted the way you did, I just would like to ask if you have ever listened to any news, listened or gotten updates from an app or anything from any news that would be considered conservative. And your first response is going to be, I'm not going to listen to that crap. They make everything up. They support the convicted felon, all the things. We're very divided. The information being given to us is trying to divide you and me. It's trying to divide you and me, and it's trying to divide our nation, and I'm not okay with that. And that's why I started making these videos. I'm just trying to share what I firmly believe is the truth about what's going on. So I would just ask, if you have never listened to any news or looked at any news. Now, I know a lot of us bury our heads in the sands. A lot of us don't want to watch the news. Amen to that. Amen. Let's turn that crap off. Nobody wants to listen to that. It's ridiculous. But if we're going to stand against the things trying to tear a nation apart, we do have to have a basic understanding of what's going on. Yeah. That's when I got fired up, was when like I reached a point, I was like, I can't handle this anymore, because I know what's going on out there. It may not be happening in my town, and it may not be happening in my state, but if that is happening in the nation I live in, that was created as one nation under God, where we stand together and we stand as Americans no matter what, I can't handle it that these things are going on. So I'm fired up and I'm going to respond. But I had to know what was going on to be able to have that response, right? So if you have never listened to any conservative news, I would just ask that you be willing, if you want to be educated, if you want to have all the information to be able to make up your own mind, you cannot, we're not getting all the information unless we seek out those sources too. So then, once you're getting a good range of information, that is a good time when we can actually be educated and actually make up our own minds about what we believe, instead of doing what the news tells us to do and believe. Some good sources, you can get apps on your phone, which is like a really easy way to start listening to stuff, or getting just like headline updates. If you want a few suggestions, Newsmax is a pretty good place to start. Tucker Carlson podcast. Charlie Kirk isn't like a mainstream news kind of guy, but I love him and his beliefs. He's got a podcast. One America News Network has an app that you just get headlines that pop up, or you can turn that off and just go in and look at it when you want to. I despise the advertisements on that app. Do not judge the news by the advertisements that are on there. They're terrible. But the news itself are good, and you can just, like I said, look at the ones that are interesting to you and ignore the rest. I do really appreciate the Blaze Network and Glenn Beck. Allie Beth Stuckey is fantastic. She's like cute and young and fiery and has really good information. They're maybe more opinion-based than some of the other, that they are, I would say, more opinion-based than the other ones, but they're reporting accurate information as far as the news goes. That would be my ask, is just listen. If this if the media hasn't been bad before, is anybody else expecting it to get horrendously a million times worse now? I am. We need to make sure we are hearing a variety of information so that we can decide how we respond to what is going on. My second main thing, besides just encouraging you to please listen to some other news so that you can make up your own mind. I'm not asking you to believe it, but until we hear all the stuff, we can't make up a good decision about what's best for us, right? So my other thing is the statistics on people who supported Trump more now than in the last election are incredible. I got a little chart. This is an app I have called, I don't know how it's pronounced, Epoch, EPOCH News. Here's a little, okay, I'm going to show you this chart. This is from the Epoch News. I don't know if I can do this. Okay, all those red arrows are different demographic groups and how much they increased their support for Trump in this election versus the last one. There's one blue arrow there. That was a group that lost Trump support. So I just want to read through a few of these. I guess it's incredible. Like, okay, I'll highlight a couple. So 18 to 29-year-olds, this election versus last, he gained like 20%. He still did not, if I'm reading this correctly, because sometimes church and graphs are confusing, right? I feel like there's not enough information on here. Um, I believe he still did not win the 18 20 to 29 year olds, but it was almost even this time, I believe, if I'm reading this correctly. Whereas last election, he was like 25 percentage points behind the Democratic Party and Biden. So that is one of the huge ones with black voters. It Trump got like 15, 20, almost 20% more of the vote than last time. Hispanics was a huge increase. Men age 18 to 44, women age 18 to 44. Those were the big ones. People without a college degree was a significant, looks like maybe like a 10-point difference. So why I'm talking about this is because clearly there was a huge, huge shift from the last election. I think this is for a lot of reasons. And because you were not part of that shift, I would just ask you to think about, is there something that a lot of Americans are seeing that maybe I'm not seeing yet? I am not here to push my views on anyone. I'm here because I care about our country. I know I've said this 12 times. After I did my search for information a few years ago and I realized what was going on, I was just like, I was real fired up then. There just wasn't an election happening that like I felt the need to get involved in. The election is over. Us standing together and fixing our country is not over. So yeah, I'd really encourage you to listen to a wider range of information, or if you've buried your head in the sand, choose some select ones. Get some apps on your phone. You can listen to them when you're cooking, like once a week or twice a week or every day or however often you want. This doesn't have to be something that consumes our lives because I don't think anybody should listen to the news all the time. We need to not worship these things. I feel like certain people have taken it a little too far and we worship this. That's not really the way it's supposed to be. But I just want to try and help because of all the crazy misinformation out there. I want to help as many people as possible be able to find different sources and find ones that they trust. That's all I got for today, friends. I think tomorrow I may actually tell you, I might actually tell you my personal response to the election because I haven't done that yet. So, adios.